and the vice president of R3. I really love R3. It's really helped me with the ministry expansion. And it's here that I met Norm Anderson. He's the author of the Growing in Love, 12 Seeds Growing in Love book. So if you have that book, I got plenty of books here. You can take a buck, get Norm to autograph it for you while he's here. It doesn't come that up. And we provide solved. Yeah, next in a couple more weeks. We provide free Bible correspondence courses both in English and Spanish for college credit for inmates. And so if you want any copies of this, you can make copies and get those out as well. And I was excited to be able to represent Rain Homes last Thursday at Rush City. And I had over 90 guys interested in doing our Bible study class. Wow. Great.
I'm Norm Anderson, involved with the 12 Seeds, and I'm a volunteer with Prison Mission now. We've merged 12 Seeds into Prison Mission. So.
Morning, everyone. I'm Mark Groves. I'm the president of Minnesota Corrections Association. I've been involved with R3 going back to about 2008, I think, in some way, shape, or form. We'll have our annual conference, 90th anniversary conference up on the deck on the 24th through the 27th. We host monthly workshops. We would love for you all to be members of the Minnesota Corrections Association. It's a good way to get involved with people that work in corrections, community corrections, and make those connections that you want or seek out.
How do you get involved?
Go on.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, I'm Jonathan Holt. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at North Star. I'm excited for the MCA next week. We'll have people there. It was fun last year. I'll be there just one day this week, but Tim Walsh is speaking. I'm excited. This is the update that I'll give. Tim and I last week went up to Lino Lakes, the PFA, and did some talking with teams or groups, 74, 75, and 76.
Yeah.
Graduated classes there. So that was really fun. 70 guys. And that was a fun time.
So just a reminder for the Zoom, let's all use our extra large voice. What's that, John? Can you repeat that? Bill?
Bill Betzler, I'm working with Ray. Bill. Steve, Lord has me each day serving with Rain Homes and partnering with Fire Ministry as a messenger of the gospel.
I love that, Steve. Matthew Emerson. I have a new role as Director of Recovery Services for the Minnesota Prevention and Recovery Alliance. Learn more at I'm at PRA.
One of those. John Henderson, privileged to be the founder of RAIN, and I'm also privileged to be on the board for R3. Kind of goes hand in hand. And it's exciting to announce that if you haven't heard already, we have hit 97 beds in just the loop. That's the largest that we've had in concentration, even with the Twin Cities. So then the unusual part, and I need to mention because Amber is representing a ladies' home, which used to be a men's home for about a decade, our Crystal Men's Home, and now it's had a beauty makeover, thanks to Amber. and now there's ladies living there, no men. Are men allowed? No men allowed.
No boy.
And but of the 97 beds, we have more beds for adult ladies than we do for adult men, and that's the only location that we have, or the Arrowhead region, where we have more ladies services for ladies than we do men. Pretty cool. Thanks.
When I was, I used to go down to Shakopee Women's Prison and talk to them all the time before they get out. I'd say there's one thing that'll bring you back here. Short little word, 3 letters, begins with M. Men.
Wait, you said you had. beds for women for, in the loop. I met with two ladies in Shakopee that both live in the loop that's looking for a place to transition. Two. That's good to know, okay.
So the ladies' division's place, men's are Zachary Place,
Okay,
and, the ladies is Grace Place.
okay, okay,
So
all right, thank you.
that's the two divisions.
I'm Crystal Brutluck. I work with R3 and Rain. I basically do whatever John asks me to do. And then my mom and I.
Communications, let's be clear.
Yeah. And then I also, my mom and I work with Amber and do service projects for Black Butterfly from my mom's church.
I'm Mary Cardinal Peterson, also working with Rain, R3, and also involved with the Minnesota Corrections Association legislature.
I'm Donisa Anderson. My ministry is Joyful Harvest Ministry, and I have been doing in-person ministry for, gosh, close to 30 years now. One of the things that I'm doing is having a silent auction event. It will be both online and in person. So if you could make it, it's November 4th. It will be from 7 to 9 in the evening at the North Campus of Minnehaha Academy. You know where that is. If you can't make it, but you still would like to bid on some things, you would need to go to my ministry Facebook page, which is Joyful Harvest Ministry, and at 5 p.m. on November 4th, I'm working on getting, and I still need to connect with this guy from church who's going to donate Twins baseball, or I don't know if it's just Twins, but baseball cards that his dad had from the 1930s and 40s. Wow. So that hopefully will be one option. I do know that one option for the adventurous, my brother-in-law is a champion pole vaulter in his age group, 71, and he still pole vaults. And he will give lessons for those who've been on that.
That's okay.
So you don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
So you just sign up for that. I follow a little.
Oh, and the woman who owns the Minuteman Press in Mendota Heights, where I get my newsletter printed, has a side job teaching people how to roll cigars. And she is going to allow that to be auctioned off as well. So, and there's artwork from prisoners and from others, and baked goods and different things. So it's a fun mix, and hopefully people will actually come. It will be catered desserts, and it will be fun.
What day is that?
Saturday, November 4th.
My name is John Magnuson, and I used to work with U.S. Representative Jim Ramstad, and we worked on the parity legislation, and then came back to Minnesota, was the executive director of March, and then now serve on the board for Sober Homes, the MAP, and also have my own independent life recovery coaching program that works with individuals, families, and organizations, coaching them towards greater success. And just recently helped the retreat build a coaching program for their organization. So I wear a lot of hats, but know where all the power comes from. So it's good to be in this room with this group. Thanks.
What is your name again?
John Magnuson.
What does John do in his spare time?
That's my girlfriend, Magnus. She just reminded me I'm supposed to have some of that last night. No, I love to.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
David Springer, servant of His Majesty King Jesus, work at Crane Home, release events, and currently just about to finish up remodeling the house that I'm in. Just about done with it, so it's cool.
So Pastor George Gibson, and I have no idea why I'm here. But,
We were wondering.
we fell off the planet somewhere and went back to Africa again. No, but just launching Refiner's Army, which is connecting, training, and equipping the body of Christ to lead with light in the middle of darkness. And so that's what we're launching. But I also stepped down as executive director for CCTP, RENET, Reentry Employment Network. So if you know someone that's looking for that kind of a position, we're looking to try and find someone that wants to do that. It's really connecting the construction industry with men and women coming out of jail, prison, treatment facilities. So we're looking for an executive director to take my little shoes and make it a bigger footprint here in the Twin Cities. And but Refiner's Army, it's all about connecting the body of Christ and training and equipping. So kind of full circle. I'll have my book coming out. It's called The Chase. It's got a handcuff on the front, so you guys can probably figure out what that one comes from. So, but
all right. Thank you, George. I'm Ron Solheim, Director of R3. Just happy to be here today and hosting the event along with John Henderson, Wayne Holmes. And we're just excited to have Amber Brown here today to present on Black Butterfly, tell us her story, and share with us how things are going. Amber presented to R3 probably a year and a half, 2 years ago. We were all strictly virtual online at that time because of COVID. So it's nice to have her here in person and presenting to the group here in person. And then this guy who just came late, there's four demerits for George.
not this one, that one.
Other ones. We're just doing introductions, George. And guess what? You're the last one.
Right?
Yeah.
My name's Ron Lang. I'm the CEO of Freedom Works over in North Minneapolis. And, small piece.
Yep.
Or just my name?
Well, that in your most embarrassing moment.
Freedom Works works with guys that are coming out of prison, are the tip of our spears to disciple those in Christ. But how we do that and how we our strategies around meeting people's practical needs with treatment, mental health, word training, on the job word training. So we have spaces for 190 guys total in 2 locations in our Minneapolis.
There is. Thanks, George. Glad you're here. We've got a couple people online too, so we'll jump in with Pastor David Hibison. Do you want to give us a quick intro?
Sure, Pastor David Hibison. That's all I got. No, I'm just kidding. Director of New Life in Christ Ministry, or Discipleship Reentry Ministry up here in Northern Wright County. Also a member of R3 board. And then I will also today represent Cars of Minnesota, which is a prison ministry. We go and do 3-day retreats at various prisons when they're open and allow us to go in. And I'm actually, I just kind of caught a glimpse of George going in there. Cars is doing a 3-day retreat weekend at Freedom Works this weekend, beginning tomorrow night, or tomorrow morning, excuse me. So lots of things to do and keep me out of prison and just following Jesus the best I can.
He's going to go home at night.
What was that?
They let you go home at night?
They do. That's always nice. Yes.
Yeah. And we've got, not the last, but certainly not least, we have Daniel Guppy from Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge.
Are you gonna let Jesse in? Oh, there he is. Okay. All right. My name is Dan. I'm the director of outreach for Minnesota Adult and Teen Challenge. If you're not familiar, we have a team of about 12 statewide, and we focus a lot on people that are incarcerated. It's one of our main focuses. What's new for Teen Challenge? Always something new. Expansion. That's the news of the day. We're currently opening up a women's program in Brainerd here in the next 30, 60 days. We are opening up a residential program in Alexandria, which is a new build that's will be open in 2024, and then other locations after that. So, but you'll hear more from us, from Jesse and I next. Thank you.
November meeting. Yep. And Jesse, if you're there, you can unmute, and there you go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jesse Kaplan. I'm the Regional Outreach Manager for Minnesota Adult Teen Challenge, mostly focused in the Southeast and Rochester area. I guess one update, and this is something that's been around, but our CPS reunification track for the women's program, just kind of spreading awareness about that. I can also send out an informational flyer. Do provide peer recovery support training through MMPRA, and we have an upcoming training that's virtual, fully virtual. It's from November 6th through 10th, and it's about 46-hour training. If anyone's interested, we do have an Eventbrite listed for that as well. Just reach out. I'd be happy to send you the link.
All right, thank you, Jesse. So with that, we are going to try something this go around, because Amber's agreed to try to speak from this angle over here so that she can be seen as we're recording this. So let's see how we can.
Just to remind everybody, Daniel and Jesse are tag teaming next month.
Okay.
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm glad we let them know.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's so nice to hear like where all you guys are from and what you do. I worked at Boston Scientific for almost 7 years, and they recently laid me off. So if you have anything else and that you think I can do, please feel free to reach out. So that's my livelihood. I do work for 40 hours a week, but I also operate and own a home called Black Butterfly Women's Services located in Crystal, Minnesota. You all can come and tour if you ever want to just see the home that I purchased from John. John is my mentor. He took me under his wing and he said, hey, I can show you how to run a home. Let's kick the men out and put the women in, and we got this. So we got this house. I beautified it, and we worked with DOC and treatment centers. I've worked with human trafficking organizations, Youth Link, The Link, shelters, churches. I welcome women from anywhere, really. What inspired me, at the age of 15, I got into this huge altercation on school property. My story did make the news, so the incident happened at Cooper High School. Got into this fight with this girl, and I hurt her. And they didn't know whether to try me as an adult, send me to prison, or to send me to a rehabilitation center. So we went through that whole thing for maybe a year. We had to constantly go back and forth to court. I had to meet my victim face to face and her family. It was a really long, drawn out process, and it was super scary. And I was afraid for my life. I was 15 years old. So they did try me as an adult. I was on EJJ, extended juvenile jurisdiction. I was the only girl at that time on EJJ, and they did not know how to handle me. You know, now they have a gender specific approach now, but back then they didn't. You know, we're learning a lot nowadays with technology, and the people smart. So let me see, they decided to send me to a rehabilitation center. I had to do all of these psychological exams, and due to like the trauma that I faced during my upbringing, they said, well, this girl might have issues. Let's put her somewhere and give her the help that she needs, you know, to be independent. My household was deemed as unstable, so I knew I could never go home again in life. So I went to it was called Brown Schools in San Marcos, Texas. They sent me to Texas. It was kind of like it was a locked facility. It reminded me of a prison, but a treatment center. I don't know if you all saw this movie with Angelina Jolie, and she was at this like all girls therapeutic. It kind of reminded me of that. They can physical hold PHU. You know, if you act out, they put you in the straitjackets and put you in this locked room. So it was a real treatment center. And so I did that for a year. You have to graduate. I did graduate the program, and then the court said, hey, you know, she's 17. She'll be 18 soon. Let's equip her. Let's give her the tools that she needs to be independent. She's smart enough. She could figure it out. Let's help her. So they sent me to Watertown, Minnesota. I lived in Watertown for about a year. And there, if you know Watertown, it's primarily white. So I'm a young Black girl, 3 felonies, trying to make it in an all-white community. And I worked at a McDonald's. I graduated from Watertown Mayor High School. And I had an IEP, so I was in special education. So it was super tough for me out there. I was called black trash, the N-word, gorilla, monkey, whatever you can think of, that was me every day. I faced that. And I had to be strong because we know that my last crime was committed at school and I couldn't act out. So I had to take a lot of things that should no one have to accept. I made it through that, but through my experience in that home, I knew that I wanted to have a home. I wanted to do it over again. I wanted to have a home for women that have different backgrounds, any color, right? Any cultural background, and I wanted them to feel welcomed and loved and know that they matter and they have a place. Amen. So the Black Butterfly is not because my home only accepts Black women. Some people think that that's what it is, but it's because I'm the Black Butterfly, and I've gone through this, transformation and transition. I grew up very poor in Vicksburg, Mississippi. We lived in the projects. My mom made $3-4 an hour. We were on welfare. We moved from Mississippi to Minnesota. I'm the only child, so we had to figure life out. My mom was sick. She's still sick, and I felt alone. For a long time, I felt alone. Now I don't feel alone because I've created my organization and I've met John and he's introduced me to you guys, the Prison Fellowship, and I feel like I can be me. For a long time, I hid this secret, my crime, and I felt like people would look at me like a monster, so I couldn't be me. Now I can. I made a mistake. I'm very remorseful for my mistake, and it made me who I am today, right? I wouldn't be able to provide these services to these women and to help pave the way for anyone if I didn't go through what I've gone through. So I knew that I wanted to open a home. I just couldn't figure out how. Department of Human Services hate me because my felonies were assault felonies. So they said, no, you can never be employed by us to receive any of our funding. So I knew that having an actual group home, like what I lived in, having a group home that dream was squashed. I met John and he showed me a way, right? It's still the right way. It's just a different way. So we did this thing and we have a home and I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do without Department of Human Services. And I know God is so good and I'm just so happy, So I graduated high school. I worked at an optical company. They accepted people with felonies. I worked with Carrie Yeager. She was a workforce specialist at the Workforce Center. And she gave me like an internship, 80-hour paid position at Walman Optical. So I worked there for 6 years. They ended up hiring me, thank God, and I became an optician. I didn't do anything with the license, but I just wanted to complete something, I guess. So I became an optician. And then after that, I worked for Metropolitan Center for Independent Living. I really have a passion with working with older people, even though DHS won't let me, but this organization did. So I helped people stay home instead of going to nursing homes. We equipped the homes and with the accessibility needs, and they gave me like $60,000 a year, and I would give older individuals that are low income money, and we would do the grab bars and we would do the stair, the ramp or whatever you need. So that was like a very fulfilling. I love the job, and I quit when they took the funding away. The state had to take the money for some reason and put it somewhere else, so I left it alone. But that was probably one of my best jobs I've ever had. And I was actually able to go out and meet the individuals, and I oversaw 6 contractors, and that was really fun. And they were yellow ribbon, so it was really nice to work with them. So after that, I went through the expungement process. So when I was 21, I went to my public defender. I said, hey, can I get this expunged? She said, no, never. And so somehow I went to Urban League over north, and they said, well, I'm gonna connect you with the University of Minnesota Law Clinic. So they connected me with them, and there they said, we can help you, but it's gonna take some time. So we couldn't start the process until I was 24, because we had to have good behavior for some years after probation. So 24, we started the process. At the age of 30, I was granted the expungement. Yeah. DHS declined. That's the only entity that did, but that's okay. I'm still free. I'm still me, and I can still do what I want to do without them, though. So, we did that, and I wanted to go to school. I'm like, okay, figure out what you want to go to school for. So, Metro State University, they have this like degree that you can create your own. It's called an individualized studies degree. So, I went to school for project management, business administration, and human services. And I got a little background knowledge in all three of those, and I could put that on my resume. And so after that, I'm like, okay. I think around that time I met John, or it was shortly after. I ended up going to Women Venture. I don't know if you know of Women Venture, the organization that helps people. So I went through Women Venture. I took this class, the Business Essentials, and something else, and they give you all the tools you need to start your business. They help you pick your name. They help you register your business, your color, your website. They give you a mentor that probably has background in what you're trying to do. Everything. You even have access to $50,000 once you graduate. I didn't want a loan, so I didn't take it, but there I learned how to, I have a business plan. I still have it today, and I go in and I update it whenever something changes or whenever I see a different path. And they also help me with my financial statement. So I knew, it's so crazy like how you put it on paper and you see how it comes to life. Like I do believe anything you do, anything you want, put it down on paper and just watch it, So everything from having a home to having a vehicle for my house. Somebody just donated a vehicle to Black Butterfly. Like all of these were my dreams. To partner with the Department of Corrections and to work with women that are in treatment. So after the Women Venture thing, I have all this paperwork now. I feel confident I can move forward. Met John. John said, buy the house. We'll figure it out. I bought the house and we figured it out. And so he connected me with prison fellowship. So I go to the prison fellowship alumni breakfasts once a month. And some of the alumni have come to the home. I have alumni on my nonprofit board right now. I even had, let me see, I forgot my train of thought, but anyways, they are some amazing people. One of the mentors right now, she just invited me. She has a church, and her church is called Resurrection Church, and they in the I always get his name, Anglican church. They just invited me to a Matthew 25 retreat for 3 days, and I just touched down last night at 10 o'clock, and it was absolutely amazing to be in a room full of people that are doing exactly what you all are doing. I don't think I've ever had that. I felt so much love. I prayed more than I've ever prayed in my whole life. I was like, hey, how many times are you going to pray? And then last night I kept praying when I got home. So and I'm like, yes, like I feel like complete. I feel fulfilled. And before I was going, I was questioning, like, am I in the right job? Like I just lost my full-time job that I didn't really love anyway, but it was my livelihood, like I mentioned. And now I'm trying to figure things out and see which direction I want to go in. My nonprofit, I'm not getting paid. I'm basically a volunteer. I bought this house. I updated it with my own money. Now, I think when people saw that I was super serious about this and I really wanted to help women, and people started donating and they started to be involved. So we have had prison fellowship mentors or mentors step up. We've had people buy us a car. People come and paint the house. People come and donate clothes and food. It's been an amazing journey. I bought the house about 3 years ago, and I saved $25,000, and I did the floors and we redid the bathroom. We painted the inside and outside. I welcomed my first resident that following year. It took us like 4 months to update. Then we had our first resident from Shakopee. She did well. And then I slowly started, I was working at Youth Link, which was the second job I was working to pay the mortgage there. So when I worked there, I'm like, well, why don't I just quit and partner with them? So I quit the job and I partnered with them. And then I started welcoming women or youth, homeless youth that are on probation in the home. Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. I had a house manager who graduated Prison Fellowship. I think that a person that, the face of the organization should be a person that's gone through it. You know, I mean, that's how I feel. So it was nice to really have that person as a leader in my home. And she was very loving, you know, and she loved the Lord. And so she brought that peace, the nurturing, that loving peace into the home. Right now we have about 4 people. We have a house manager, she lives there, and we have 3 residents. And the max amount we can have for now is 7. I do plan to buy another home in South Minneapolis or maybe St. Paul, but that's once I figure out how to fill this one. Yeah. So if you know anyone in need of housing, we do have an application process. I'm currently rebuilding my website, but I do have a website if you do need something to refer to. Yeah, that's Black Butterfly. I'm the Black Butterfly, and we are trying to really help the butterflies, you know, grow.
Spread their wings.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
What does yellow ribbon mean?
Oh, that's the volunteers, the veteran volunteers.
Oh, okay.
And they build ramps for free. Yellow ribbon
I
for
went to
other
this-
veteran families.
This would date me, but I'm sure several people in this room for that song. I don't tie a yellow ribbon.
So just to add to Amber's wonderful experience that I just was privileged to be a part of later on, more recent. Amber was a first-time home buyer, and she was part of the Reigns home ownership track, which is something we offer that there should be more organizations out there offering it. And so she was able to get into the home, and out of her pocket, she had saved money. So it wasn't like she didn't have the down payment and things like that, but she was able to get in for $1,000. And that way the money she had saved was able to put into how she wanted to make it. Because I challenged her, it's like when you arrived at the home you did in Watertown or wherever you went, how did you feel and what would you have wanted to feel?
Yeah.
And that experience was brought to life through Black Butterfly in the home that she now owns in Crystal as a first-time home buyer, which she was able to get into for $1,000. I can't pull off the second one for $1,000, but the Lord can. But thank you, Amber.
Thank you. And we are MASH certified. I thought about you when you said something about MASH. I did become MASH certified.
Amber, how many people?
7. Yeah.
And there's a studio apartment downstairs for the house mom.
Yep, I just.
And then 6 ladies on the first and second floors.
I just did it different now. Now I have 2 residents downstairs.
All right.
I there's like a whole apartment down there.
Yes, there is.
The only reason why I switched it up because I felt like the last house manager was just going to her room. She wasn't really being interactive with the women. So I said, now the house manager is going to be on the floor with the women.
Yeah.
And we're going to have 2 residents down there. But please, you know, if you have time, the house is in Crystal, come by. I give tours, you know, Boston Scientific. They have all come to the house. They even have a day where they come and do like yard work, this big yard that I don't know what to do with.
Spring cleanup. And
yeah. And I was wondering, do we have an email with everyone's information in it? Like you already have something started? Okay.
Crystal's sitting right here.
Okay. I think that'd be great. Like what she's doing, your silent auction, just to make sure we all get that information. We should shoot that in the email and just update each other on whatever we have and how we can support each other.
So John, me and John have known each other for
just a couple years. Oh, I'm sorry, a couple of years.
I'm also a PF graduate.
Okay.
Well, IFI really.
What is IFI?
IFI was interchange student initiative turned into Prison Fellowship Academy, and I work closely with them. But we have I have a lot of resources for you. We have a pilot program for women, but we need another building for it, and it's just not going to come in this economy right now, even God's economy. So we put our focus somewhere else. But we have a Bread of Life food shelf that we support a variety of different homes.
Okay.
But we distribute about 40,000 pounds of food every 2 weeks. But the food that we do, I mean, it's really good. It's not just all produce.
Okay.
But I just got a lot of resources for you, but I don't have my card, and John's got my
I can
info.
give you my card.
Yeah, yeah.
And just text me and then we could chat.
Yeah. It works we're right by you.
That'll be so nice, cause.
Amber, you gotta be patient with George. He does get back to you, but maybe not. It takes him a minute.
I have to stop you to get to his name.
But I'm gonna commit to it. So it's just a done deal, so.
Let's do it.
But George, you're busy and you're doing a lot.
Well, what I'm just gonna turn it over to Stephanie.
That's how you do it.
You will hear from Stephanie right away.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
We can definitely use it. We have, I mean, you all know that the women come from prison or come from anywhere with nothing, absolutely nothing. And we have to start from square one. And,
How about clothing?
we do have a lot of clothing.
Okay.
So that's one thing everybody brings. We have a lot of clothing. John makes sure he fill us up too. So we're not good on socks and winter coats and scarves and boots. That's what we don't have any winter stuff. But
Say, Amber, Thursday night connections tonight at Freedom Works, and Stephanie's speaking.
She is. Don't think about it. She is, and I'm gonna be there. Steve, I didn't even see you down there. Hey, brother, how you doing?
I've heard so much about Freedom Works. So it's an organization only for men.
No, we want our mission is to reconcile men and women to God, family, and community.
Okay.
But historically, Freedom Works was just for men.
Okay.
And that took years and years and years to crack through. And so we were dead set on building a building on our garden area. We got a plot that's just, we've already had the architect, put it together, the plans. The economy just turned for us, so we put that on hold. But we are not inclusive just to men, so there's men and women that come to Freedom Works to all the outreaches, programming,
and families,
to Paris families, so.
We do need, I'll connect with you to learn more because we do need help. We need mentors for Black Butterfly. We need resume help. John is really good with the job search, but we always need more of that, for different areas.
So we have 4 women in our graduate program that our graduate program is built off 2 Timothy 2:2 for the things you've learned, right? Coming out of the joint, coming out of our past, and I'll pass that on to other faithful women. It would be, but they need to be mentoring. And I know that I just had this conversation. There's only one of the 4 that are mentoring right now. And the others are looking to mentor, but there's always that kind of middle ground where you just gotta drag somebody in the room and say, this is the person, we're gonna introduce you to. So.
All right. And all the women are like at the house. Our mandatory house meeting is Sunday night from 5 to 6:30. So if any of you want to just explain your services or get involved and just have them get to know you, that'd be the time to do it. But we can arrange a different day too, like if you need to. But that day they cannot do anything.
Well, the resources that we get in for women, I mean, we always give them away because we just don't
work with women.
There's only there's 5 women there right now, so. Out of a total on campus, there's 150 on that campus right now. So 4 of them are women, so or 5.
Okay, well, you should have more women.
I got no place. But the pilot program is just to get our toe wet.
Okay.
Instead of telling them
to it. You build it, they will come.
I know. We've got the plans to do it, but we're just God showed us another pathway that we were gonna take. We just purchased another property, so that had women in it too. That was a co-ed place. That was a crazy atmosphere. That's not what we want to do. So it was not what. Boy, that was rough.
Yeah, sometimes we always found that when you're working on recovery, working on reentry, and all of a sudden you have a new relationship blossoming, it doesn't always work.
No. Well, we knew we bought this location. Boy, this looks like a disaster. And it was. We inherited 38 people in there, and we were down to 10. We just got to scrape the plate. 11 staff went down to 4. We had to bring in our new staff. It was bad. It wasn't helping people. So.
3 years like that.
Yeah, He's got to start over, restart, restart, yeah.
Any other questions for Amber or any other thoughts on resources or connections for Amber? Know of any housing that might be available as she's looking for her second home at some point?
I guess I'm gonna follow up to the PRA stuff. You're talking about resume services.
Yeah.
Like that. Trying to utilize CPRS.
Yeah, okay, that's a
So
peer recovery.
we're actually in collaboration with Black Butterfly, and we've reached out to Black Butterfly's, some of their graduates of aftercare to come and enjoy the training presented by myself and Jesse Kaplan.
Yeah. Also, Jeff, I will be a part of that too.
And so we even invited Amber to just come sit in the training and kind of see what we're talking about when we're doing that.
She's gonna be the next one running it.
For me?
Yeah. You said you were looking.
That's true.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, thank you again, Amber, for presenting today, and stay, and there's probably still a little more pizza to eat and conversation to have all the time.
Every third Thursday at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
We gotta be sure you're on the mailing list, because you can either attend in person or via Zoom.
And this is the mailing list
Crystal
right
is the
here.
mailing. Crystal, okay.
Yep.
I'll make sure you're on. I thought you were, but I'll double check.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna get my pizza and eat now.
Yeah, please. All right. So any other thoughts or announcements from folks who are here today? I was gonna throw out just real quickly, with Minnesota Corrections Association, we do share a group called Community Supports. And we do have a number of organizations that attend that group. We just meet for 1 hour, first Tuesday of the month at 9 a.m. in a Zoom. We're trying to connect community organizations with corrections professionals, folks that are working in the field, whether they're working in the prisons or in the field doing supervision. And one of the projects we're working on now, we're just kind of trying to take on, is the Department of Corrections is going to be revising its two policies in particular that we were interested in, that the organizations were interested in, were non-DOC admission, people coming to DOC facilities who are non-DOC staff. So in other words, volunteers coming into the prisons to provide programs and services. So they have a policy, rather lengthy and detailed, about getting approval to enter the prisons. And Dwight can tell you a little bit about that, I'm sure. He's been going through that to get into the transition fairs. And so they're in the process of revising and updating that policy. And so we wanted the community organizations to provide input to the chair of the policy review committee for DOC. Some of the challenges or barriers that maybe you've seen, or things that you think maybe this doesn't make as much sense as it could. There is not the continuity and consistency is always a problem, because each institution kind of has its own staff that determines who's allowed in, and it boils down to, raises up to the level of the warden if they're going to deny somebody entry or provide entry. And so you've got 10 different institutions, you got 10 different wardens, and so there isn't necessarily a lot of consistency maybe in that process. So that's what we want to provide comment on. And then the other one is programs and policy on external programs coming into prisons. And so that's another chairperson at DOC. So we're trying to get them to present or talk to the group at our next meeting or next couple of meetings, so we can provide feedback to DOC on, okay, here's the things or the challenges that community organizations have. So if you're interested in attending one of those meetings or participating, or just even sitting in and listening to what the changes are being proposed, let me know. We'll get you an invite to that. Oh, you too? My gosh, well, that's right, the twins aren't in it anymore. Absolutely, but so shoot me an email, whatever, I'll make note, or just give me a note, and I'll make sure that, we get that invite out. The co-chair of that committee is a district supervisor, out of, oh gosh. I'm drawing, like, say, I left DOC a few years ago, so I forget her district. Holly Van Pelt, but
Olmsted?
she's not Olmsted, she's Albert Lee. Yeah, I was trying to remember what it was. So we'll make sure if you want to sit in on that and listen to what the proposed changes are or provide input, that would be really what this committee is all about. So let me know.
I could speak to some of the forward thinking about these policy changes too, with the implementation of MRRA, which we could do R3 of them. We need these policies to be super secure to correlate earned incentives with program participation.
So just so you know, MRRA, Minnesota Rehabilitation and Reinvestment Act that was passed in the legislature. And so the issue with that is, yeah, they put it into statute, but they said, okay, now you develop policies on how you're going to implement this, and that's going to take them at least a year. Bottom line is, it allows for somebody who has demonstrated good behavior and rehabilitation in some way, shape, or form, which is to be yet determined by policy, to earn time off of their prison time. So in other words, it's your incarceration time. In Minnesota, you do 2/3 of your sentence incarcerated, 1/3 on community supervision. MRRA will allow them essentially to do 50% of the incarceration portion of their sentence, and then out into the community, and potentially early discharge or abatement, essentially.
So it doesn't do like a 50%.
Yeah, they're just working on putting all of that together. And there's some interesting things around that, because there are early release programs already, and what the impact will be on those remains to be seen, like, challenge incarceration program, work release, conditional release program, or all early release programs. And they allow for essentially up to 50%, incarceration time versus the 2/3. So it'll be interesting to see what the impact is. And I think this group, through MCA, will be very helpful in helping to provide some input for that. So if you're interested, now is the time to jump on board and get your 2 cents in.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else?
December 3rd, Atlanta Promise on BB Lake. Pastor Jerry is bringing in concrete seasons, and there'll be a meal after.
Just outside of Buffalo.
Yep. And he's been in, prison ministry for years, and they want a minimum of 6 to 7 families they want to sponsor through Angel Tree, so it's going to be kind of a benefit, like a yeah. Great. Keep us in prayer. We're going to do Love Kansas City next week, 25th through the 29th.
Fire base.